Hey, what up? It's Khalil with Sales Story Ninja, and today we're going to talk about the gap.
Aloha! Follow me as I share with you what I learned back on the sales line. I'm Khalil McCabe, and this is Sales Story Ninja.
Hey, what up? It's Khalil with Sales Story Ninja. Welcome back, and I'm really excited today. Like I shared with you guys the other day, I'm actually going back and doing a lot of sales training myself. Getting into an inbound closers role, and I have I'm really excited about some of this stuff. And like I said, I'm going to start sharing with you some of the things that I'm learning. And today we're going to talk about the gap and what it means and what parts of it. And so what parts of it I can actually use on my sales training. And I want to talk about some of the things that I really, really like. And take a look at what the gap is. The gap is from basically there's a space between who your customer is right now and who they want to become, right? Who your customer is right now and who they want to become. Okay? And somewhere in the middle, there's a buying gap. There's a piece where right in the middle that's where you want to figure out if they're at, right? You want them emotionally in that middle space. And that gap, basically, they need to acknowledge that I'm here right now. I want to get there, but I can't get there without some help. I can't get there without some help. And that's why we're talking about that being the gap. When we talk about creating pain with customers, that's the gap. The gap is what we're talking about. That I'm not there yet. I want to get there, but I can't get there. I want to get there, but there's something holding me back. I want to get there, but whatever. And that pain is the pain that we're talking about. That gap is the pain that we're talking about. And it was really interesting because I've never seen it framed this way before. And so one of the interesting parts about that buying gap is, first of all, unless people, one, can recognize that there is a gap, that I can't get there without your help, there's not going to be a sale, right? And two, you don't want them so far where they have no hope, where I know there's a gap, but there's nothing I can do. They call it the savior complex in the training that I'm in. But this concept of no matter what I do, no matter where I go, no matter what it is, there's nothing I can do to get there. And going back, it's pretty relevant in at least the timeshare sales, which I've done, because I can see that a lot, where some people are on one side or the other of the gap, and that gap, even though they acknowledge it's there, they either feel that they can get there without the help, or they can get there without, or there's, even if they got the help, they wouldn't get there. And so it's really interesting. So let me kind of talk a little bit about that. Let me talk about the buying gap and what that is in the middle. So that's that place, that's that opportune place that you want your customer emotionally before you go ahead and present the offer. Because when you present the offer at that point, that offer is the resolution to that gap, to that space. Now, when you have that space, right? When you have that space, by you being able to present that offer there, it's a logical fit, and they can go ahead and take action from there, right? If they're too far to version one, or their old version of themselves, if they're too much into where they're existing and currently at, there's a sense of, I have no hope. It doesn't matter what you do. Yes, I have this gap. Yes, I'm not there. Yes, whatever. But even if you do everything, I need an act of God to save me, right? And if that's the mentality that you're getting from your customer, their likelihood to buy your product is very slim, because there's no sense of hope. Or even if they buy your product, the likelihood of them canceling, saying, hey, even with all of this, I can't do it. That's the part of it, right? Where I think I've had, when I go back, I think of customers that I've had. I remember, you have people that have been burned from timeshare just a lot, and they're like, no matter what you do, no matter how you help me, we're still going to be stuck in this place. And even though they recognize that there's a gap, it's not something they're willing to fix. It's something that's not quite, there's that fear of, well, I'm so far gone anyway, like no sense I continue to work on it. There's a lot of people that feel like that with weight loss as well. Like they get so big, and I've been there before where I'm just like, I don't care, right? All the effort I make, all the time that I'm going to put into this doesn't exist, right? And if your customer, if you can recognize that your customer's at this point where it doesn't matter what you provide, it doesn't matter. There's no sense of like, I know I want to get to this other place, but I can't get there no matter what happens. If there's that sense of I need something ridiculous, I need you to do the entire thing for me, they're not going to be good candidates for a product, because there has to be that sense of I can do it. There has to be that sense of hope, right? They have to get to the point where, oh my God, if I do this, I can achieve it. If there's no, well, if there's that sense of even if I do this, I'm still not going to get there, then either one, you haven't built enough value, or two, they're so far in their own head that they're not able to get themselves out. And at that point, your job is just to kind of get them out of their own head and try to move them along further into the idea of hope. And, you're trying to build them up. You're trying to build that hope for gain at this point, so they can see themselves achieving it. They can see themselves getting there. They can see themselves potentially benefiting from this, right? And the other side of the pocket I've also seen before, which is version 2, where what is my new person? Who do I want to become? And if they're too close to that, they're saying, hey, look, you got to get this product and it'll help get you there. And if their response is, yeah, I think so, but you know what? I think I can figure this out on my own. That sense of needing your help, needing help to the gap, they've already passed the gap. So they're kind of at this point of, you know what, I'm just going to figure it out and I'm going to do it. And, I'll get back to you if I need anything. You lose the urgency, even though they acknowledge it. They know the process is right. They think your product is great. There's no need at that point, because their sense of need for it disappeared, because you've lost that gap piece is not there anymore. That they've already gone past it. And so for them, their response is like somebody who, especially if you teach a lot instead of sell, if you focus too much on the how versus the end result, then you aren't able to go ahead and get them to be able to take action, because they're going to look at it and go, oh, I can do that. Let me figure that out. I think the biggest example or biggest mistake I see is people that pitch to people that already own timeshare. They go ahead and pitch the same hopes and dreams and all the good stuff. And that's good, except you got to understand that you also have to resolve their need, and you have to show them their gap. And if they're like, oh, my program can do this, let me just kind of tweak this and figure this out, it's not going to get there. What I used to sell in-house, I remember whenever I would get a Hawaii owner, because most of my pitch would be about Hawaii, and because most people didn't have Hawaii. But once I got a Hawaii owner, my pitch had to shift towards VIP or the next level or something else, because if I kept pitching Hawaii, they didn't need it. And so they were too close to the other end, where it's like, yeah, nope, I get it, I see it, let me go kind of take what you taught me and let me go figure it out on my own. Awesome, thank you. And that's it. There's no sense of urgency that's built up. And so it's really interesting. Not that I've never seen it presented this way before. There's this buying pocket in the middle that's this gap, and they have to be acknowledging that they need the help. They have to take responsibility that, hey, I'm in control, I have the power to take action and say, I want to get to the other end, but I can't do it alone, so I need your help. And that's kind of that soft piece in the middle that you're trying to get your customers to. And you do that really by asking them questions, learning more about them, discovering, and pitching specifically to those points. So for instance, if somebody is on the far towards their old self, right? If somebody's really toward their old self, your questions are your comments and questions are going to be about hope, hope for gain. Your sales pitch is going to be about what they're going to get, the pain they're feeling right now, a little bit, but mostly what they're going to get, how they're going to gain from it. And you're going to build hope. It's mostly encouraging. It's mostly uplifting, mostly, hey, you can do it. You got this. You know, you're amazing. It's building them up as people. And on the flip side, right? So sorry, let me back up. On the old version, it's building them up, building them up, building them up, building them up. Because as you're building them up, that concept of hope grows bigger, right? And as that concept of hope grows bigger, then you can encourage them, right? And then you're going to want to remind them of some of the struggles they have and the pains they have and the fact that there is a gap, but they can do it. They got this. They're able to get there. And I think that is going to be more of the angle that you're going to have to come from. With the other side, when somebody's on the other end, your pitch has to come more from well, why didn't you do it in the past? You know, you've been here and you can't, you know, you've already been making these efforts and you can't really get along to do it, and you can't. It's really about going back and bringing up the pain, right? You're going to do a lot more fear of loss pitch. You're doing a lot more, well, you know, you've been trying this on your own this far, and this is what you've gotten, and this is what it's cost you so far. How many more times are you going to struggle and fail, you know, before you get to that point, you know, before you do something? So why don't we step in, get started, and, you know, make sure that we can close that gap for you, right? The problem is, right, so at this point, the people way far to their new version of themselves is they need to be, that pain needs to be there. That pain of, hey, you know, you've already been doing this long enough. You've been doing it by yourself, and it's struggled, it's failed. So how do we, you know, why continue to do the same thing? They say insanity is doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That's what it is. And yeah, that's what they're talking about. That's what they're looking at. And so if you continue to go down that route, you're not going to get the result you're looking for. You're not going to get that new version of you that you want to get. And so it's interesting because as I'm looking at this, as I recognize things, I got to figure out how to get people into that buying pocket. And you get people into the buying pocket either forward or backwards by pitching hope for gain to the people that are afraid and fear of loss, or pain to the people that are on the other side of the buying pocket. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I took. That's just one of the trainings. There's a lot of cool stuff that I'm going to go through. But that was probably one of the biggest, not takeaways. It's something I've kind of understood, but no one's ever laid it out that way. And I really enjoy it because as a closer, being able to recognize where they're at, based on the words they're saying and the stuff they're thinking, you want to be able to pick them up and encourage or, you know, build positive feelings or negative feelings based on the particular situation you're in. So anyway, that's Kaleo, Sales Story Ninja. I know it's more of a technical piece, but I really enjoyed this. And I will, I'll share more about the stuff that I'm learning. So anyway, thank you for listening. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'm still learning what all this stuff is. But again, this is Kaleo, Sales Story Ninja. Peace.